3 drones. 16 minutes. A corridor to Crimea suddenly at risk. You clicked for the Moscow strike, stay for the why. Because this wasn't random. It was part of a multi-domain tempo forged at Mariupol, where sensors, drones, and coastal fires learned to punch far above their weight. In this breakdown, we'll connect the drone hit to the frontline lesson: heavy armor is king, until infantry turns a ruined block into a killing zone. You'll see how linked trenches, tripwires, and skiff teams on Lenin Avenue rewrote the playbook that makes long-range strikes land where it hurts. Before we move on, I'd like to ask you a small favor. If you appreciate this content, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Over 98% of you watch the videos without subscribing. It costs you nothing, but it makes a huge difference to us. So, did you click the subscribe button? Great! Thank you so much. Now, back to the video. They expected steel to rule the street. They brought weight, speed, and fire.
Russia has accused Ukraine of carrying out a drone attack on its capital, Moscow, in which several buildings were damaged.
But Russian authorities did not specify the concrete number of drones involved.
Russia's defense ministry said it shot down 5 unmanned aerial vehicles and diverted 3 others electronically.
So why did the street fight back and win? On Lenin Avenue, the first push rolled in tight. T-90M Pro tanks took point, BMP-3s tucked in, and the sky thumped with BM-21 Grad salvos and Su-34 runs. The goal was simple: punch a lane toward the coast and hold it open long enough for follow-on forces. Tracks bit into broken asphalt. Facades shook. The formation kept spacing, turrets scanning, gunners keyed to thermal. But then the city closed its fist. Sight lines that looked clean on a map shrank to half a block. GPS wandered between tall walls and metal roofs. Laser rangefinders bounced off dust and window glass. Every turn came with a blind pocket. Armor had range, optics, and power, but the street cut those edges down to knife fight distance, where speed turns to risk and mass turns to target.
Videos posted on the Russian Telegram channel MASH appear to show explosions in the sky.
And according to Russian media, about 25 drones were involved in the attacks, and most of them were actually shot down or allegedly shot down in the Moscow suburbs.
Moscow's mayor says drones caused minor damage to several buildings and 2 people sought medical assistance after the strike.
Linked trenches stitched across yards and courtyards, bending alleys into slow switchbacks. A driver eased to clear a corner and found steel teeth instead of open road. Tripwires flashed the crew's nerves. IED-style traps forced a halt, then a crawl, then another halt, like a steel serpent hitting barbs, one scale at a time. Momentum, the thing armor lives on, bled away in 10 meters. Studies of urban fights say heavy vehicles lose eyes and ears in clutter. That played out in real time. Crews fixated forward, but doctrine flags the side angles that narrow streets give to small teams. That warning mattered here.
Kyiv has not responded to Moscow's accusations. It has previously denied involvement in drone attacks on Moscow.
And according to Moscow Department of Transport, the traffic in the area was blocked and the GPS signals were jammed after the alleged drone attacks.
The block itself manufactured flanks. One doorway above, one culvert below, one cut through behind a fence, and a tank's thick nose meant less than the thin ribs along its side. Skiff missile teams used the map like a board. 2 turns off axis, then strike. They moved like chess knights, never straight, always one level across, one level up. A basement window gave the shot. A stairwell gave the exit. A drainage run gave the second angle. Short-range hits hit home. Side armor took the blast at near zero range, the sweet spot where guidance barely had time to warn, and the warhead didn't need it.
Well, Russian media reports that drones hit at least 3 residential buildings in Moscow. Drones were also allegedly shot down in Moscow suburbs, and videos of this, especially smoke in the sky, are now being circulated.
Overhead, a thin ISR layer threaded the gaps. Orlan-style eyes watched the grid, logging routes, noting pauses, catching the flicker of a thermal plume in a courtyard. Punisher-class drones added nuisance and pressure, dropping on soft points and forcing hatches to stay closed. That air picture fed guns that still matter in a city, towed D-30s and howitzers with crews drilled to crank fast. Corrections flowed in seconds. A choke point wasn't a place, it was a timetable, 30 seconds here, 20 there, until Splash found steel. Meanwhile, Ka-52 and Mi-28 gunships tried to rake the blocks and peel back the ambush. They hunted for muzzle flashes and dust signatures. But smoke screens cut the beams. Decoys stole rockets that should have hit real men. Short bounds, 10, 15 meters at a time, kept squads alive and moving. You could hear rotors, feel the pressure in your chest, and still never give a clean shot. The bait worked. Tanks edged deeper, chasing a picture that no longer matched the ground. Crews fought hard. Loaders kept up the drill. Commanders called for dismounts to sweep corners. Yet each time a unit cleared one angle, another opened. The map stacked angles faster than armor could kill them. Thermal glare off broken glass turned an expensive optic into a confused eye. The promise of power faded into the grind of uncertainty. Block by block, the stall took hold. Range advantage, gone. Optics, degraded. Tempo, broken. The street set the terms, close, fast, and crooked. That's the range where infantry beats armor, where a man with a launcher and a plan can take a lane away from $1 million machine. The lesson is harsh and simple. Pull the enemy into a fight he didn't plan for. Make his best tools the wrong tools. Hold on to that. Because the same rules scale. Collapse the range, blind the sensors, and hit the soft pocket that supports the hard shell. That is how 3 small drones, guided by a patient sensor net and timed pressure, could hurt a capital ringed with air defense and make distance feel short. Compress the range. Blind the sensors. Hit the soft pocket. The rules that turned Lenin Avenue into a killing zone scale cleanly to the deep strike, 3 small drones riding a sensor net, skipping past static defenses, and punching the city where support lives. Doctrine beat hardware because it adapted faster. If you want more hard analysis of how doctrine beats hardware, hit the subscribe button. Comment your pick, armor supremacy or infantry control of terrain, and why. Next, we break down the defensive ring around Moscow, layer by layer, and trace where coverage overlaps fail. That's where the next soft pocket opens, and where timing becomes the weapon.